What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. We now have Tucker Carlson absolutely ripping Biden to shreds. This newest update, guys, live in front of an enormous crowd. I'm excited to check this one out, so I'm going to save all my thoughts for the back end. We're going to jump straight into the clip, so definitely stick around to the end so you guys get my thoughts on the back end. And also, YouTube, push this video out. Definitely stick around to the end, you guys. But let's get straight to the news. Before we do that, though, make sure you guys hit that like button for me and also hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to the truth. Hop aboard for the journey. Let's get into it, y'all.
There are very few truly clarifying voices inside of the landscape of American politics, and one of those is Tucker Carlson. In times when the world shatters, right? When the crust of the earth like splits open and there's like an earthquake, a political earthquake, particularly, and a cultural earthquake, like when Joe Biden has an absolute dementia seizure, Alzheimer's seizure, live on TV for 90 straight minutes. You seek out clarifying voices like Tucker's. And the reason why everybody seeks out clarifying voices like Tucker's is because you look for people who have never lied to you. You look for people who aren't paid propagandists. So many in the corporate press, virtually everybody in the corporate press, right, left, and center, are all paid propagandists who are speaking power to truth. And the reason the First Amendment was written is to speak truth to power. The First Amendment, reporters, journalists, truth tellers, we're supposed to fight on our behalf the tyrannical, oligarchical kleptocracy the power, right, that is trying to put a boot on the back of all of our necks. But in our bizarro world right now, with the broken matrix that we live in fact, most people inside the corporate press with megaphones, they are tools of power. They are tools of the institutions that wish to oppress us, and Tucker Carlson is not. And it makes Tucker Carlson, in these moments, somebody who has insatiable takes on the debate. And just about 12 hours ago, Tucker Carlson released his actual take on the debate. You know, it was a deafening silence, as they say. But Tucker Carlson popped up, finally, and said, you know what? This is what Joe Biden's dementia, seen from 10,000 miles away, looks like. This post has gotten 33 million views, has gotten 30,000 reposts, and 100,000 likes. It's gotten 13,000 saves. It's fair to say this thing has gone as nuclear as any response to Joe Biden's debate performance. And for good reason. Because what Tucker Carlson actually does here is call out the institutions that allowed it to get this bad, that allowed the gaslighting about Joe Biden's condition to carry forward, and now they're just scared that you all know what they've known for a very long time. They are the protection mechanism for power. It's what makes them so evil, and it's why it's so important that we build an independent media. Tucker Carlson, on his Tucker Carlson Network, releasing this video, so awesome. Let's begin with Tucker's introduction.
And today, and they had the presidential debate, the U.S. presidential debate, and maybe some of you saw it, and if you did, well, it was amazing. It was amazing on every level. But what was especially amazing was afterward they went to the panel of assembled Democratic operatives posing as journalists, and all of them were like shocked to discover that Joe Biden has dementia, like they couldn't believe it. What? Oh my gosh! He's non-compos mentis! No way! Are you serious? And I'm thinking to myself, what year is it? 2024-ish? Middle-aged people identify with that? Okay, 2024, people are saying. It was 2019 that I heard from a friend of mine who was friends with his sister, Val, that the family was very upset because Joe has dementia and he's running for president. And, well, I said this on TV, by the way, at the time, and was denounced as a racist or something. I mean, everything, in the United States, like, that's just like the all-purpose term for shut up. Racist! I was like, I think he's white. Shut up, racist! Okay, anyway, but his sister had told a friend of mine, like an actual friend of mine, one of my neighbors, that the family was upset and that his son, sadly, had passed away. By the way, not in Iraq fighting a war for freedom, but of cancer. I don't think he's aware of that. But sad. And that the family was convinced he needed to kind of get it out of his system by running for president, but of course no one's going to like make Joe Biden the nominee because we had Pete Buttigieg for that, who's, now it's a joke, but at the time they were like, people are going to love Pete Buttigieg. He's incompetent, but he's gay. Great. And then people were like, what? No. So they had to go to Joe Biden, and he actually became the nominee and then somehow became the president. But it was obvious the whole time that he had no idea where he was, and that it was cruel, and that his grasping, horrible wife, who like poses as a doctor, was pushing this so she could go to state dinners. And everyone knew this. Like, there's not one person who didn't know this.
So what Tucker begins here with is saying what a known secret Joe Biden's dementia was, and how these people have lied to you. And Tucker Carlson, of course, up until just recently lived right next to Hunter Biden. Do you know that Tucker Carlson's neighbor in Georgetown, where he lived, was Hunter Biden? They were neighbors. Tucker Carlson knows this family and knows them very, very well. Knows everybody who has direct access to the Bidens. And so when he pops off about, of course, the media protection mechanism and the basic understanding that Joe Biden already had dementia when he ran for president in 2020, this becomes quite shocking. And so Tucker Carlson, of course, being the kind of person who can really turn the screws there, and then he continues.
Even given the high standards of politeness offered to foreigners in foreign lands, everywhere I've traveled around the world for the past 4 years, and it's been a lot of countries, people are like, so Joe Biden, how is he? You're like, well, I think he has dementia. He certainly does. Like, everybody knows, because they have, I can't remember, the internet. And it has video on it, and it takes about 15 seconds to determine the leader of the most powerful country in the world, with this mass nuclear arsenal involved in 2 simultaneous wars, doesn't know what day it is. And that's really scary. But if you come to the United States and you're in the media envelope, this like fake world created by these disinformation specialists who run our media, that's never mentioned at all. It's like everyone pretend, it would literally be like everyone pretending Jacinda Ardern is like a legitimate person, which they may have done in New Zealand. I wasn't there. You know what I mean? Where people say, oh, that's the prime minister. What? It's ridiculous, actually. But everyone sort of plays along like it's not happening. And the whole Emperor's New Clothes story is based on this phenomenon, which is a very human phenomenon. But for the media today to be like, wow, we just got the diagnosis, this is shocking, he can't run for president. Kind of, either they're really stupid, like too stupid to breathe unaided, or they're liars. They're truly dishonest. They're hiding the obvious from you. And I'm betting on the latter, but even more amazing was the response to that. So remember that our media are not just observers of reality or describers of reality, people who bring you the story first on the scene. No, they're the gatekeepers to reality. You don't know what the world looks like except through them. Like, they are the pipeline through which all information flows. And in the United States, they're political actors. They work for a political party.
So Tucker Carlson calling out the reality that our press are doing this and are lying to you, and they're angry because now the lie is up, the gig is up. And they must now serve their masters once more and call for Joe Biden's recusal, call for Joe Biden to step down. And is that going to work? Does it actually work when you claim to be a defender of democracy, but nothing that you ever, no agenda that you ever push actually even remotely reflects democracy? What is democracy exactly? And this is the part where Tucker Carlson really gets into the true grit of what we are facing right now. We're not a democracy. That's not what this country is all about. Democracy is when the majority of people get what they want over time. We live in the opposite of that.
All of a sudden today, these defenders of democracy are like, well, I mean, obviously Joe Biden's got Alzheimer's and he's super unpopular. He can't win. Therefore, we need to replace him. And it's like, wait a second. He was already elected in the biggest landslide ever. I don't know if you knew that. Like, he got over 1 billion votes, in our country. He got more votes than Black Jesus. And because he's just so unbelievably popular, people just love Joe Biden. It was a landslide, literally a landslide in 2020. And that gives him the authority to do whatever he wants, whether you like it or not, because so many of your neighbors voted for him, you don't know their names. But it happened, okay? It happened. It's sort of like COVID deaths. You never actually met anybody who died of it, but millions did die. Everybody voted for Joe Biden except you, so shut up. So he has this mandate, this moral mandate to do literally whatever he wants, import 30 million people illegally, and you're not allowed to say anything about it, racist. And yet, at the same time, and then Democratic primary voters, just like the other day in our system, the members of the party vote for their nominee. He's elected by his own party. People actually went to the polls and cast a ballot for him. But all of a sudden, because he might not win against the orange man, we need to take his job away from him by force and let the donors put someone in there who can beat the orange man, because that's democracy. And that made me start to think for the first time, maybe we're defining the word democracy a little differently. Maybe you've got a different understanding of what that means. Maybe you think democracy is when we do exactly what you and 8 of your friends want. That's what you think it is. Whereas I think democracy is when you do the will of the majority over time.
Elon Musk saying he makes a great point about democracy, and of course, again, this is going as viral as any of the reactions to the debate. So this is why they are so scared of this moment, because they have lost control. And because we, independent media, are actually shattering the protection mechanism that they had around Joe Biden and everyone. And it is a really, really inspiring moment. Support independent media, support Tucker Carlson's network, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see ya.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Coming from our friend Benny Johnson. I'll definitely be sure to leave the original video link down in the description box below for those who want to go over there. Check that out. Also, you guys go over there and show our friend Benny a bit of love. Oh my goodness, guys. There we have it. Tucker Carlson breaking it down quite brilliantly. I feel like he always calls the balls and the strikes pretty well, no matter what side of the aisle, what team you're playing for. He's going to call it exactly how he sees it. Here we're seeing him calling out Biden, the Biden administration, and the left-wing press, and the powers that be. You know, their bubble has been burst. That big, shield that they had up to their viewers, and all their audience, where they were trying to gaslight, lie, and paint this picture to say that this guy Joe Biden was capable and competent enough to, serve another term as president, guys, when he wasn't even competent, capable enough to serve the first one. Got Tucker pointing out how this debate came as no surprise. Biden's performance came as no surprise to the folks on the right, whereas we seen this coming from miles away. We could see all the signs, and Tucker said he even knew, insider details, with him being very close neighbors to the Biden son. And then he's got friends that are in contact coordination with them that said back in 2019, their family was very upset that Biden was going to take on the challenge, take on the obstacle of becoming the president, guys, when they said he had already been diagnosed. This, of course, comes as a huge shock to us, guys, the world. We know nothing of this, but we could all see the signs. I mean, the folks on the right, I'm not shocked or surprised at all to hear that he was diagnosed back then. We just seen, decline the progression of, this illness that he is suffering from. And now they're calling for him to be taken off that spot. But if I can recall correctly, in the months, weeks, and days leading up to that debate, the disastrous debate, we had everyone advocating, the folks on the left, the press, the left-wing media outlets, guys, that were coming out, they were covering up. The powers that be were still trying to put this guy in that top spot. The covers were dropped at the debate stage, though. You've seen that we said there was no way that you could go toe-to-toe with Donald Trump on the debate stage. Happy to see Tucker Carlson revisiting this, this topic right here. I feel like they tried to kind of cover it up with the Supreme Court's ruling on Donald Trump's immunity, where that came out. It's breaking news. And the left was panicking over that. Yeah, representatives like AOC with major scrutiny on the U.S. Supreme Court justices, guys. I mean, it was just a complete panic. And I feel like it kind of started trying to overshadow what happened on that debate stage. Glad we got Tucker keeping the wounds very fresh, guys. He ripped the Band-Aid right off. He's got it in the air. We can feel it again, and it's stinging, guys. The left is definitely still panicking over Biden, trying to find a potential replacement, guys. Definitely hop in the comment section and let me know. Do we see Biden riding this thing all the way out? Are the powers that be actually going to let him see this one through all the way to the end, or are they going to pull him early, guys? Definitely hop in the comment section and let me know what you're thinking. Also, make sure you guys hit that share button. Share this out to as many Facebook friends as possible, guys. Share the truth. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button. Doesn't cost one thing, you guys. Hit that like button, guys. Also, hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to the truth. Hop aboard for the journey. I'll catch you guys on the next one.